Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to another ARC bonus, and today we're going to be talking about that big glowing bird right behind me. The bird on fire. Yeah, that bird on fire is a phoenix, and the cool thing about phoenixes, they have quite a few uses. They can be kind of a pain in the butt to tame, depending on how you're going to tame them. There are several different methods of taming Phoenix, but depending on the method you choose, it can be really easy. It can be kind of well, not really easy. It could be kind of hard, it can be pretty hard, and it can be wicked hard. Because, yeah, you only have a limited amount of time, because these guys, they only spawn during heat waves, and there's only one on the map. Just like the unicorn on the island, there's only one on the map. So, yeah, it can be pretty hard to find these guys. I came across this one by sheer luck. It was by the green ob, and I was on an oil run, and I happened to come across it. I actually have a video on me taming it, so I will link that video in the description. But we're going to discuss a few things you're going to need before you get a phoenix. And the first thing you're going to need is another type of flyer, or at least the taming method that I use requires another type of flyer, except this one's a powerhouse. It's the fire wyvern. And not just any fire wyvern, you need a fire wyvern with good stamina and really good melee. So, yeah, sulfur breath here, she's got both of those. Where is something I can eat? Here's a morella tops I can eat. I'll show you just how tough she is. Look at this flame attack. Look. That morella tops, dead, just like that. But yeah, she has some wicked good stats, as you can see. Her health doesn't matter when taking on a phoenix, because a phoenix, it's not gonna fight back. It's gonna try to get away from you. But the stamina, it's 1123, could be better, but the melee, look at that, 542.9. That is good melee for a fire wyvern if you're going to use the wyvern taming method. There are 3 taming methods you can use: the tapejara method, the fire wyvern method, or the taming pen. Personally, I like the fire wyvern method because it's somewhat expensive, but not as expensive as the other 2 methods. The taming pen method, you're gonna need to make it out of metal or stone. Metal's usually a little bit better because it traps the heat. And then the tapejara method, you mount a tapejara, have a flamethrower equipped, and just constantly burn it. Because what you do, you have to cook the phoenix. Yes, that's right. You cook the phoenix. That's how you tame the phoenix. You just constantly cook it with either a flamethrower, lit oil jars if you're using the taming pen, or with fire wyvern, just breathe on it. But the fire wyvern does not have a really good turning radius, especially when moving quickly. Plus, the breath attack drains its stamina really fast, as you can see. You know, we're already down to almost a third. Just 1/3 of our stamina left. So, the wyvern taming method, honestly, I like it the best because, in my opinion, a phoenix, taming effectiveness does not matter. Just getting the phoenix is all that matters. The stats don't really matter because you're not going to be using it to fight anything. You're not going to be taking it against the mana core, because you know, you can't breed. You can't breed these guys, and you can only get one. So, yeah, but I honestly, the biggest perk of getting a phoenix, and my honest opinion is that they poop silica pearls. You get free silica pearls whenever these guys poop. You don't get the brown stuff that just came out of the jerboa. You get silica pearls. You get 15 every time it poops. It may not sound like a lot, but it adds up pretty dang fast. Plus, these guys can also act as refining forges. So you can get gas from these guys. You can get metal ingot from them. And you can also cook your meat in these guys, which is a huge advantage. That is a major plus. And let me put all that stuff in there. Throw that out. Let me get some of the meat from the wyvern and put it in there because it crafts up super fast. So I'm just taking, we're just gonna do 2 stacks, but look at how fast this meat will cook up. Just give it a minute. Yeah. Look, you already got 1 cooked meat. It's a little bit faster than a campfire. Not as fast as an industrial grill, but it's still pretty effective. So if you want food on the go, you want some fast food, you got a Phoenix. Now the downside of Phoenix, the one major downside I would say about the Phoenix is that they only eat one thing. Sulfur. Yes, that's right. Sulfur. You're going to have to mine a bunch of sulfur nodes to keep these dudes happy. Now, luckily, you only have 1 to feed, so you don't have to worry about that much. But yeah, you'll need to either mine sulfur nodes, kill rock elementals, or kill fire wyverns. Yeah. Sulfur nodes are the easiest, wyverns are the second easiest. Going after a rock elemental, that's a pain in the butt. But if you do have a rock elemental already in base, they will also eat sulfur. So you will need to keep the sulfur in the Phoenix inventory, in its personal inventory. However, I do not have a rock elemental, so I can afford to keep it in the feeding trough over here. It'll be just fine. And the Phoenix is in with range, so it's going to be able to eat it. But, yeah, it's a really big help. Now, the Phoenix, when it comes to getting on these guys' backs, they can't take off like you normally would take off. Like, say in Argent, you would press the spacebar to take off. You can't do that with these guys. These guys are kind of finicky and they're very slow on the ground. Now in Survival Evolved, they could not land like this at all. They were always flying. But now here, they can land and it's still cooking up the meat. Nope, I meant to close that and get back on you. Now we're gonna see if we can take off. You usually have to fall off of a ledge. And then its special attacks you cannot use unless you're airborne. You can only use on the ground its peck attack. That's the only attack. Your left click peck attack. That's all you can use when you're on the ground. But once you're airborne, you can do some pretty cool things. There we go. So what you have to do with the Phoenix, you have to walk off a cliff to get airborne. However, if you're holding shift and space at the same time, look at this. You can just soar through the air. And the cool thing about this, when you turn around, it does use a bunch of stamina, but when you turn around, if you decide to run into something, Find something that's not going to hurt us. That we can run into. Here, we'll crash into that Morellatops. Nope. But we use a peck attack on the Morellatops. That peck attack incinerates the Morellatops. It has a burn effect, because whenever the Phoenix touches something, it sets it on fire. So it doesn't do that much damage because the Phoenix I got a hold of on the map was a low level Phoenix. Yeah. But let me get one of these Morellatops dead. But these guys do harvest meat. Even though they eat sulfur, they will harvest meat. And there goes the baby. Now the cool thing... Oh. Baby's dead. I'm gonna harvest it anyway, because I want to cook up some more prime meat for me. But the Phoenix, the cool thing is you don't have to land to regain stamina. It will naturally regain stamina on its own when you're in the air, which is pretty dang cool. All you have to do is just stop flying. However, its food drops wicked fast. Which means these guys, when you get near sulfur, when you get back to base to feed them sulfur, they're going to go right through it. They are porkers, just like Daeodon. But their right-click attack is a fireball. Like that. And when it hits something, it causes a huge explosion. The C attack allows them to pick up super small things like Jerboa, and they have no control attack. Now, the main downside of a Phoenix is coming into land, and I'm not going to move that fast because I don't want losing too much more food. But bringing it into land is a pain in the butt because you can't just land. You have to hop off the Phoenix and let it land on its own, which is a pain in the butt. Which is why we're going to do this inside. See? There you go. And now it's landed. And now we're just going to walk back to where we were. Because, yeah, this is a good place to have our Phoenix. But, I did not mean to do that. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to the Phoenix that I can think of. But yeah, when you're taming these guys, I'll have a link to the video in the description. I highly recommend the Wyvern method just because when you run out of stamina on your Wyvern, because that will happen, you will run out of stamina on your Wyvern. Very few things will aggro on your Wyvern when you land. Whereas if you're using a flamethrower on a Tapejara, everything will aggro. You'll get Microraptors, you'll get Capros, you'll get Thylacoleo, and yeah, it's just a pain in the butt. And another thing that's a pain in the butt about these guys, you never know where they're going to spawn on the map. They could spawn in the high desert, they could spawn by the green ob, the blue ob, the red ob. You never know. So, finding these guys is the hardest part. But a good thing is once you start the taming process, if they disintegrate when the super heat wave ends, if they turn to ash and go back into the ground, you will not lose taming effectiveness and you will not lose the taming efficiency. So if you're like at 85%, if you're 85% through with the tame, and the super heat ends and the Phoenix disintegrates, you don't have to worry about starting from scratch, because when the next heat wave starts, the Phoenix is going to reappear at that exact same spot and it will still be 85% tamed. which is really, really cool. Now that taming will start dropping immediately unless you're ready to start breathing on it. Or using your flamethrower, or lighting up oil jars if you do the tower taming method. Those methods, other people have done videos on those. If you want to explore those more explore those methods a little more, you can go check out videos on those. I do not have any videos on those, but I do have a video on the wyvern method. That, again, I will link down in the description. But yeah, that's all I really have to say for the Phoenix. If you want easy silica pearls, if you want quick metal ingots, quick food, a Phoenix is the way to go. If you can get your hands on one, I highly recommend it. Plus, it's a trophy. It's a trophy tame. I mean, come on. Look at that thing. Look at how cool it is. You can't tell me that thing is not cool. Okay? It's a bird on fire. It's a giant bird that's on fire, and when you jump on its back, it doesn't burn you. How is that not cool? Alright? Alright. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.